morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. So look, we do have an eventful week, in my opinion. It's the last week of February. We do have some important economic events coming out, like, for example, the PCE, which is going to happen on Friday. By the way, on Friday, probably Friday is going to be the most exciting one, because we're going to get the Japanese data as well. So at the end of the month, just a release of a lot of data. You know, that's what they normally do. But I think that, like I said, during the week as well, we are going to have some shifts here and there. We're getting the NVDA earnings. This is something that the market is anticipating very much. And if you're not even into trading stocks, that's fine, but you probably need to be interested in the potential volatility that the earnings could cause. So look, about all this and a little bit more in the webinar right now, so stick around, do not tune out. Hopefully you'll enjoy the session, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, okay, hello and good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. So look, we are in a new week, and it's the last week of February. Now, I think it's going to be quite an interesting one. A lot of probably profit taking will be happening. However, let's not forget about the economic events and political events that are taking place. So yeah, before we jump into all that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. We do, like I said, we do have an interesting week ahead of us. I mean, it already started quite interesting with the German elections. Well, to be honest, nothing new in there, but yes, about all this, I'll look into in a bit on all this. Yeah. Also, just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look what's happening with the Japanese index. So, on Friday, if you were awake and you were watching what's happening and how the U.S. market was closing, well, they closed in quite a negative fashion, I would say. You know, they lost, major indices lost some key big numbers, in my opinion. Dow was the least of a loser in there, with only dropping by 1.69%. Well, that's, I would say, quite a lot. And it's like almost shedding like 1% or something in there, 1,000 points, you know. So yeah, also, not sorry, 1,000 points, but it's Nasdaq was the biggest loser, 2.2% loss, and the S&P 1.71. Right, and this is where kind of it dragged all other indices, including Japanese Nikkei here. As you can see, we dropped, and what I was saying to you previously from the technical perspective, basically, I said to you that, look, if we do drop below all the EMAs on my daily chart, excuse me, great, wonderful. I'll go a little bit lower. However, we need to see also clearance of this upside line taken from the low of the 27th of September. So this upside line was kind of happily, or I don't know, not happily, but there was coincidentally, we can say it this way, you know, coinciding nicely with coincidentally coinciding, that's a tongue twister, coinciding with the 200-day EMA. You cannot see it, it's the white line here, the EMA, the 200-day EMA, and like I said, beautifully matches the upside line. So we cleared all that. So in a way, it's now pointing a little bit more towards some lower levels. Again, this is purely from the technical perspective. At the moment, like I said, if initially I was looking at this as a potential ascending triangle, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the upside. But We got the breakout through the lower side of it, and yep, now it seems like we could see a further drift lower, right? Well, in a way, yes, but the problem is that we do have a bunch of obstacles on the way lower. For example, this one, the 37,270 zone here, is the one that I'm going to be watching very carefully right now. Like I said, my downside scenario, I'm not going to get very radical or anything like that. I'm just gonna go slowly on this one, and I'm just gonna go step by step. So for now, I like this area. Again, if it provides good support, if this 37,200 kind of 69.70 area provides good support, yes, maybe we could see a rebound. Now, then what I'm going to consider is a possible range. I don't like that, but hey, I have to take it into consideration, because if this is going to hold, maybe we'll see a rebound, and then we'll end up in a very wide range, which has been in play for about since around the end of September of last year. Then that's quite a lot, I would say. So almost for 5 months. And this inactivity, in a way, inaction, or whatever you want to call it, is of course great for those who like to trade ranges. But if you're trying to find some sort of a trend, then either to the upside or to the downside. I have to reiterate that, because sideways action is also a trend. But if somebody's looking for like an upwards or downwards trend, then yes, of course, this is where the problem arises. Now, what I'm going to do here, like I said, for now, long story short, I'm looking at this one very carefully, the downside scenario, as long as we stay below the 200-day EMA and this upside line. Let's not forget about the economic data that's happening this week. Today, Japan is closed, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the emperor's birthday, but tomorrow when they kick in again, we don't really have much happening on Tuesday, Wednesday, because the main action is coming on Friday. Because then Friday, the Japanese officials will or not officials, but in general, statistics bureaus will, drop the usual data dump, or like data drop, whatever you want to call it. Because we're going to get the Tokyo CPIs, we're going to get industrial productions, retail sales. So a lot of things happening, and yeah, I think that this is something that the market could keep an eye on. Will it be something like a shake-up, of the Nikkei or the Japanese yen? I don't know. I don't think so, because at the moment I think all the focus is on the BOJ, because the BOJ right now is very, very happy, because last week, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Last week we got the official inflation numbers from Japan, and those were very, very to the upside. Let's put it this way. Friday, there we go. That's what we got when we got the inflation numbers. 3.2 against the 3% prior on the core year-on-year inflation. The headline inflation came out at 2.5. Okay, maybe not the it ticked up higher, but it still is something that the BOJ is quite happy about. Now, the BOJ, just to remind you, that they want to continue hiking rates, and at the moment they're sitting at plus 0.5, if I'm not mistaken. Then yes, I mean, eventually they want to go higher. The next meeting for the BOJ will be on the 19th of March, so keep your eyes in there. I mean, at the moment there's no forecast, for a hike. No, the forecast right now sits as if they're going to keep the rate the same. However, we know that the BOJ officials are ready to jump in, to step in, and to go for those hikes. Well, again, how it will play out for Nikkei. If we bring in theory into the whole picture, then normally you would see, we should see weakness, because if interest rates rise, this is not good for the businesses, and blah blah blah, and this is where we get an issue with the index. However, we've seen this, happening in the opposite direction as well. So I think that we have to go step by step and determine every move by the central bank individually, and kind of analyze every central bank move individually. Because, for example, maybe the market will think that, hey, you know what? Because the Japanese economy is feeling not bad. That's why actually, the BOJ may allow themselves to go for that hike, and in the short run, we could see maybe Nikkei pushing higher. So this is something for you to keep in mind. But again, this is just a theory. Unfortunately, I keep on saying to people, or actually maybe not unfortunately, but fortunately, I keep on saying to people that look, we wait for the for the events to come out, and then maybe do something about it if you're comfortable with that. But at this point, look, I'm going slowly on this one. I'm approaching this carefully. I'm approaching this one from the technical perspective. I'm seeing some weakness here. I think that there could be some, yes. If we stay below the 200-day EMA, I'm leaning towards that 37,269, 70 zone, somewhere around there. And then we'll go from there. Let's jump into Australia very quickly. Australia, there we go. Now, in a way, mission accomplished, because what I was talking about previously, and I was saying that look, for me to, I was kind of aiming for the downside, to be honest. And I was talking about this from the beginning of last week. I said that if we do drop below the 8,373 territory, then great, wonderful. I'll aim for the downside. I'll aim for this upside support line taken from the low, the 5th of August of last year. Now, this support line is a little bit on the tentative side because we only have 2 touches. So maybe it's not the most important one to watch, but hey, nevertheless, something to keep in mind in a way. And yep, there we go. We got the test. We got the break of this upside line. But what's interesting here is that today we opened lower below that upside line, and then we kind of pushed back up. So we're now, it seems like the bulls are trying to fight hard, and in order to stay above that line, and maybe above the 100-day EMA here, shown as the blue line. But as I said, before, for me, the positivity on this one could come on a push back above the 8,373 territory right here, because at the same time we will be placed above all the EMAs in my daily chart, and this way, hey, we could get a little bit more excited with the upside. In terms of Australian news this week, let me just quickly jump into Australia. Let me just clear up this. Let's drop in New Zealand in there as well, and of course the wrong week. There we go. So yes, monthly CPI indicator coming out on Wednesday. So that's not the official inflation number. It's the monthly one. So Australia has it has quarterly, so you have to kind of keep that in mind. So 2.5, the current expectation. Okay, let's see what's going to happen, because at the moment we know that the RBA did its first cut since 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And now the question is, if this is going to pop higher, if this is going to come out at 2 point something above 2.5, then I think that they will just abandon the whole cutting thing, and they'll say, you know what, we'll just stay with what we have, and we're not going to hike, but if inflation starts getting out of hand, we could start hiking again. Theory. Let's see if this is going to play out. Oh, by the way, before I actually jump any further, let me just put the usual good morning in the chat room there. Good morning, everyone. So good morning, everyone. Hey, I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Monday. So now then, again, like I said, with Australia, that's the case. So that's what's happening on Wednesday. On Thursday, nothing major. Building some building capital expenditure, and then Australia housing, private sector credit. All right, okay. So the main interesting bit probably is coming out on Wednesday. So monthly CPI. So keep that in mind. Again, hopefully, like I said, hopefully we'll see some sort of action here. Maybe either I would prefer to see either a higher number than 2.5 or actually lower. If it comes out at 2.5, not a lot of action, in the market could be seen. So that's the situation with ASX 200. Let's see how that's going to play out. China 50. Okay, look, now what's interesting here, despite the fact that China, or the other way around, despite the fact that major indices did make a U-turn to the downside on Friday, China 50 kind of remained okay, I would say. They didn't sell off much, but I think that this is all about the fact that there's interest picking up, in the Chinese market. I think there's value to be found, and that's where, this is where the kind of the holdup is happening. I talked about this before, and while we were still in this little range here, I said to you, look, do not underestimate because the Chinese market, because there are a lot of foreign interest right now in the Chinese market, and especially with with the appearance of the DeepSeek, and then Alibaba now is like on the page, in the news, where they're saying that they want to, they want a piece of DeepSeek. Of course, certainly this, as I mentioned it on Friday, of course, it's all about providing investment and blah blah blah. But look, I think that they will acquire it later on, but we'll see, of course. Maybe it's something. Maybe there's another venture in mind. But at the moment, yeah, they're very interested in that DeepSeek. So, and the fact that the leadership of China did also meet with the top business leaders of China as well, and yeah, they kind of there was some sort of a encouragement by the leadership, the government, towards the private businesses, that we need to do this more, that more, and of course they cannot say anything, right? But they cannot order it, but let's call it encouragement. Anyway, so even with all this in mind, I mean, still it seems like the market, the Chinese market, is kind of a little bit more resilient now, despite even all the tariffs that are coming out from the US towards China. But I think that the market sees that although Trump wants to impose tariffs and everything, still he is a little bit pro business, and I think that he just wants to make it some sort of deals. I think that's what he drives on. Anyway, we'll see how that plays out, but for now, looking at this technical picture here, we remain above all the EMAs on my daily chart, and yep, I will stick to the upside, to be honest. I mean, I will, for now, as long as we stay above all the EMAs, yep, I'm going to aim for the upside. Let's jump into the US. Right, okay, beautiful. Beautiful movement here, beautiful action, and we did nice drop here. Look, everything worked out. I talked about this on Friday. I said to you, keep your eyes on the lower side of this kind of range thing here, and it's not a ideal range, but anyway, so yes, 43,820, we broke that, we broke below that. I told you about this. I said, look, if we're going to start dropping below this area, my next target is the 100-day EMA, or even this upside line, taken from the low of the 27th of October of 2023, by the way. So look, for now, we're resting on the 100-day EMA. That's absolutely fine. But if we start clearing the 100-day EMA, my next target is this upside line. Is taken from that lowest point of October of 2023. Good potential target. Again, let's wait and see. Push back above the 43,820 zone ish, somewhere around there. It's never the exact level, it's always the area around the level. And if we do somehow climb back above it, maybe we could also see a push above the 50-day EMA shown here as the green line. And then we'll go from there. Look, the S&P 500, similar story. We dropped, we declined, we tested the 50-day EMA. We're still kind of trading near it, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside, towards this upside line. If this upside line gets broken and the 100-day EMA gets cleared here as well, then yes, I'll go I'll go lower. In terms of the Nasdaq here, very quickly, Nasdaq also after finding good, finding new all-time high kind of last week, it did reverse back down. And look at this, look at the sell-off. Initially, by the way, we were seeing this one pushing higher. We were clearing some of the key areas of resistance, and then boom, it all fell apart and we dropped below this upside line. Now, what I said to you before, I'm going to lean to the downside if we do fall below the 50-day EMA. Did we fall below the 50-day EMA? Well, I would say no, not yet. If we do drop and stay below it, then yes, I'll go for the 100-day EMA right here, and then maybe the 200. But let's not rush into things. For now, we might just class this as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. So this downside line, which got broken, I think needs to be readjusted. And I think we need to mark something like this instead. So look, this is a very tentative line, I would say. It's or actually maybe, you know what, it's a good one, but again, it's a little bit subjective, I think. It's not tentative. No, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 touches here, 4 even, if we could take into consideration this, the beginning. And this upside line, again, it's like I said, it maybe if it's not tentative, it's more subjective, because again, depends on how you're going to draw it. Because maybe you're going to draw something else, maybe from here to here, So like I said, that's why we're taking it carefully. And the fact that we're holding still above the 50-day EMA, that's great. That's wonderful. Maybe the market doesn't want to, we got a sell-off, maybe, but maybe the market doesn't want to go anywhere further because they're waiting for, and also let me show you, let me just get rid of this. Where's that? US, there we go, apply. Maybe we're waiting for this one right there. Well, oh, come on, leave this sort of, that's the one. There we go. NVIDIA Corporation earnings delivered on NVIDIA delivered on Wednesday, and let me just double check. I think it's going to be after market hours. Yes, exactly, after market close. So keep your eyes on that, because again, this stock took a hit on Friday as well. Look, from the technical perspective, I talked about this before, and certainly it looks more interesting if we do break this downside line taken from the high of the 7th of January. But again, let's not forget that there we could see a little bit of a reversal at some point here, maybe from one of these EMAs, maybe from the 100-day EMA, or maybe we would prefer to see this test of this 129.50 zone somewhere around here, which played as a good area of support and resistance back in the day here, back a few days ago actually, and then we'll go from there. So for me to get bearish, really bearish on this one, I need to see the company really struggling. For now, it seems like any dip, it could be like a buying opportunity. But of course, everybody's expecting, that the company will beat its earnings, will provide fantastic results. However, I would say you have to be, a little bit on the cautious side. You have to be careful with all this, because there's always the first moment, right? Maybe maybe they will deliver good earnings, but there will be some sort of a one little metric that that maybe their growth forecasts are going to be on the lower side. So these things, like I said, these things matter, and this is something that you need to keep in mind. So not only is the technical side works, especially in stocks. I keep on saying that, look, if you're trading stocks, this is something that you need to, we can look at you need to remember that, we can look at technical analysis, but fundamental is key in this one. And let's see. So for me, let's put it this way: I will approach this a little bit more from the technical side, to be honest, because I want to see a break of this downside line. If I can get that clearance, I'll go for that 145 territory, not 145, 150 territory, somewhere there, and then we'll go from there. Let's jump into the US dollar index very quickly. So look, something to keep in mind for you this week in the US. Let me just jump into the economic calendar. In the US, the main action probably will be on Friday as well. Last trading, it's going to be amazing. I think Friday is going to be amazing. We will have a volatility, in my opinion at least. It's It seems like that. We're going to have volatility because it's the last day of the month. It's the last day of the week. And also we get the PCE, the Fed's favored inflation metric, which at the moment, by the way, let's have a look, is expected to come out on the month-on-month is expected to come out on the higher side. Oh, just a sec. What's happening here? Something is, yeah. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. So on the, like I said, on the month-on-month perspective, it's expected to come out higher. That's in terms of the core month-on-month figure. The headline figure, we don't have a forecast here, but let me just double check. Maybe we have a forecast on another source. Let me just double check that very quickly. Friday. Right. Okay. So the headline figure is the headline year-on-year PCE price index is expected to come out a little bit on the lower side, from going from the 2.6 here, which shows going into 2.5, yep, the core figure, the core PCE month-on-month is expected to increase. But the headline the year-on-year number is expected to drop a little bit. Okay, so we're currently expecting a little bit like a bit of a tick down from the previous figures by 0.1%, and we'll see how that plays out, of course, because look, inflation so far has been on somewhat on the higher side, and let me just double check something very quickly here. I mean, the official interest rate, sorry, not the official inflation number, 3%. That's what we have been seeing lately. It has been on an up move. September, so from September in the US, inflation, the headline one has been moving higher. Oh, Jindao here, I can see you there. Can see you there in the chat room there. So imagine a spike in the core price, shock everyone. Yeah, I mean, look, this is interesting. That's what I'm saying. This is going to be interesting. So at the moment that I'm seeing, what I'm seeing here is like that there is a forecast for the headline year-on-year numbers. Well, headline year-on-year number to go down. The core one as well is forecasted to tick down by 0.1%. But if by any chance this comes out on the higher side, because again we have been seeing the main headline inflation numbers, not the PCE numbers, but the CPIs, we have been seeing those picking up quite drastically. So that's why, like I said, that's why it's interesting that, you know, are we gonna actually see the lower number? For me, I think that you know what, I'm gonna go and make a bet, and this is what I'm gonna ask you, Jindao, as well. So for me, I'm thinking that it might come out as previous, as prior, and yep, this is what I'm kind of expecting. But again, we'll see how that's, I think it's because at the moment I think the forecast might be on the lower side a little bit, but if it comes out the same as previous, then basically, you know, it's higher than the forecast, and then this is where maybe some nice activity in the US dollar could be seen. So Jindao and whoever's watching this right now live, let me know what are your forecasts for the PCE on Friday for both headline and core. So yes, coming back to the US dollar situation, okay. At the moment we're seeing this one drifting lower. It keeps on recovering or trying to recover, but lately it's struggling, or even I would say today, it's struggling to push back above the 100-day EMA. Look, if by any chance it pushes back above the 100-day EMA, okay, that's absolutely fine. But look, for me, I said it before and I'll say it again, I prefer to see a move somewhere back above this territory, back above the 50-day EMA and this 107.50 zone. We could draw this in a way, this downside line here. I don't know if you can see it here very clearly. Let me just thicken it up a little bit. So yes, we could see, you know, a test of this downside line here. And even if we break that, yes, it could open the door to some higher levels. But I would, like I said, I would prefer to wait for a push at least above the 50-day EMA here shown as the green line in order to get comfortable with some higher levels. For now, the trajectory is still to the downside, and in a way, I'm still aiming for that 200-day EMA. The German index, let's jump into that one. Okay, so Germany rebounded. Look at this. I mean, look at this spike here. We had pre-market, and I think now we're seeing the reversal. Basically, this rebound here is happening because of the election, which we got from Germany. So the CDU and the AFD, the two more far right parties, kind of got the top, got the control, and the current government of Olaf Scholz did not really perform very well. Well, I think that the society is kind of fed up a little bit, and protectionism is kicking in. Look, it's all politics, of course. We can look at it from different perspectives, but from the perspective that I'm looking at is from the market perspective. And what I saw here, yes, there was a nice positive reaction to this, to the news. We got the pop, we got the move higher, but look at this. Look how well it retraced back down. In general, because the stock market is global stock market is a little bit on shaky grounds. That's why that's why we're seeing this negativity kicking in. But again, look, I mean, this was a good move here, I would say. We pushed higher, but now what I would like to see here, in order for me to go to the upside, I would like to see a push above that 22,000 kind of 500 zone here on the cash index, not the futures, on the cash index. So it's basically kind of around this territory somewhere, this line. Or if you don't like it, okay, look, this 22,577 just could be that extra confirmation for everybody to step in potentially, and then kind of aim for the current all-time high and maybe create a new one. But long story short, for now we're stuck in here. We're stuck in this little limbo. This upside line continues to provide good support, in my opinion, and this one's taken from the low of the 13th of January. But let's face it, we had a spectacular month of February, we had a spectacular month of January, but now we're going into March, and the question is, are we going to see March also positive, or is it time for a little bit of a retracement? But for me, the retracement could come if we do drop, and this is where I'm going to adjust a few things here, if we do drop below the low of last week, because at the same time we'll clear the upside line. We'll confirm a forthcoming lower low as well, and we could aim for that 50-day EMA. Let's jump into the FTSE 100 very quickly. So yes, this one's still technically bearish. We're below this upside line. We're below this hurdle, this 8,700 zone. Yep, everything seems to be pointing a little bit more towards the downside. I'm going to stick to that idea, especially as long as we stay below the 8,700 zone. We can also redraw this upside line and make it a downside one. I think that this makes a little bit more sense. So yes, if we're going to see a break of this downside line, I'll consider slightly higher levels. Right, let's jump into the Forex world very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. AUDUSD. So after reaching our target, which was the 100-day EMA, we kind of slowed down a little bit. We're now just stuck. We're stuck in between the 50 and the 100-day EMAs. That's absolutely fine for me. I said to you before that if we do push and stay above this little territory right there, the 0.6330 zone, I'm going to remain somewhat on the positive side, and so far we're doing, it's doing the trick. If we start falling below that and we fall below the 50-day EMA, I'm going to lean towards the downside. NZD-USD, let's have a look at this one. This one's a little bit more interesting. First of all, this rising channel, I think I'm going to get rid of it. I think we violated the upper side, and I think that it's just a little bit in the way. And to simplify my life here, I will just stick to the 100-day EMA and the 0.5771 zone. If we can get a nice clearance of this area and the 100-day EMA, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my messages from deep within this morning. Look, the downside scenario, pretty straightforward, 0.57. A drop below that is needed in order to go lower. Very quickly on AUDJPY, so this risk on, risk off monitor, and we can see that there is weakness. there is weakness kicking in here, and we're near key support zone, which is the current lowest point of February, by the way, the 94.32 zone. If we can get a nice clearance of that, I will go to the downside. So now let's have a look at the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Now this one's interesting. So we are near a key area of support. I mean, we're in this zone. I talked a lot about this last week, and so far so good. So basically I said to you that if we do drop and stay below the 149.40 zone somewhere here, this kind of the two lines that coincide with each other, then yes, there's a possibility to see further declines. So long story short, I would say at the moment I'm still somewhat bearish, but I'm not excluding a little bit of a rebound of some sort. Again, I think I'm not going to be surprised if this pair doesn't move or doesn't make big moves all the way up until Friday, because on Friday we get the Japanese data and we get the US data, the important ones. So, like I said, if you are trading something, you know, if you're not even something, but specifically this pair, don't be surprised, like I said, if we're not going to see some action until Friday. US dollar against the Canadian dollar. Now this one's stuck, and it seems like it's waiting for something. Now that something could be the interest rate decision from the Bank of Canada, which is coming out on the 12th of March. I know it's a little bit of a wait here, but or maybe we could see the PCEs driving this, you know, this pair out of this little range thing here, you know, this kind of because we're stuck between the 50 and the 100-day EMA. In order to consider the next short-term directional move, a breakout through one of these EMAs is required. If we can get that move, amazing. I will get a little bit more excited with the, like I said, with the next short-term directional move, and then we'll go from there. Let's jump into EURUSD very quickly here. EURUSD is stuck as well. Yes, we pushed above the 50-day EMA. Okay, thank you very much. That's great. We moved towards the 100-day EMA, one of my other targets. That's also, thank you very much. We got a nice result there. But now the question is, can we get a nice clearance of that key area of resistance, which is this one right here, which is, oh, why is it like this? Honestly, somebody keeps playing around with this too much. This is what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm considering here. So if we can get a nice clearance of this 1.0533 zone-ish, which kind of coincides with the 100-day EMA here, then great. Potentially more buyers here could join in. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. For the downside, very straightforward. Again, a lot of things right now for me are actually relating to the EMAs, because sometimes when I struggle to find good levels, I refer to the EMAs. And in this case, you know, they're doing a good job for me. So if we do drop below the 50-day EMA, I will consider a bit of a move lower, I would say. So EUROJPY, now this is something that I've picked up on recently, and I said to you, look, this is, I like it, it's interesting, and it's interesting a little bit more towards the downside idea, I think. And basically right now, we're near this key support zone, which is around the 155.45 zone. But I said to you before that I will get comfortable, you know, I'll keep an eye on the 155 zone in general, the psychological 155 area. If that starts to get cleared, wonderful, I will aim to the downside. Because again, this might be forming a nice little head and shoulders pattern with neckline being here somewhere, and yeah, and then we'll go from there. GBP. Now, in terms of, by the way, in terms of British news, British economic news, let's have a look. Is there anything major happening this week? No, not really. Wait. No, not really. We don't really have much. We have a few speeches here and there. Car production on Thursday coming out. Okay, that's going to be quite interesting to see, actually, because how much more did we fell? That's the thing. Because as we know, you know, car production is big in UK, and you know, lately with the loss of some markets, UK cannot sell its cars into those markets, which before in the past were kind of, we're gathering, or creating a big chunk of the of revenue for the British manufacturers. And when we talk British manufacturers, we talk about those usual ones, Land Rover, Land Rover, Jaguar, which is, by the way, also not owned by the Brits. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's like owned by India. Anyway. But still, production is happening in UK. So let's see how this number comes out. And I don't think that this is going to impact the pound very much. No, mainly I think that the main impacts here or the main influence here will be from the US dollar and the PCE. So if you are watching, like I said, if you are watching the PCEs on Friday, if you are trading, then if you are trading GBPUSD, then this is something for you to consider, that the PCs might be the trigger there, not the, let's say, something else, but I think it's mainly the dollar that's going to be the driving force. Let's jump into the commodity world, because that is spectacular. Look at this, gold. I mean, we are flirting a lot with this area, with this 2,945 zone. I talked about it with you before last week, and I said to you, keep your eyes on that. If that gets cleared, amazing. This is opening the gateway towards the psychological 3,000 zone, which everybody's already talking about. So look, I threw out a piece here, which you can check out on our Markets.com trading view page, and that's basically with the heading saying roughly another 50 bucks, and we are at 3,000. Well, this is actually, at the time of writing, it was somewhere around 55 maybe bucks. But hey, look, we are at an interesting spot, in my opinion. I think that this is where we need to be all closely glued to the screens, because again, if this is going to pop above the 2,945 zone and we stay above it, I'm leaning towards the upside. We have a perfect timing in a way. We're at the end of the month, right? I mean, Friday could be that, that kind of signal, or I would say that catalyst, which could drive gold either, heavily to the upside or to the downside. Let's keep an eye on that. But hey, if it doesn't, we might see this one remaining in a range and above this little short-term upside line. But if it starts clearing the upside line and the lower side of this range, which is around the 2,882 zone, ooh, that's going to be very, very interesting, and we could see a nice retracement back down, maybe towards even the 50-day EMA. Looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, I mean, look at this. This is already like, it seems already that it wants to go lower, but something tells me we could get the last spike and then maybe reverse back down. Let's see. Silver. Silver, we're resting above this 32.30 zone. Yep, still okay, still good. What can I say? At the moment, I'm still somewhat positive, and I'm gonna stick to that idea. WTI Oil, amazing. This is what I kept on talking, and I'm standing my ground that I'm bearish on oil for now. Yes. I'm bearish on oil, and look at this amazing movement. We cleared the area here, the opening price of this year, last year, and we also cleared the $70.4 mark. But I'm keeping an eye on that psychological $70 mark. I mean, I really need to see that clearance in order to get comfortable with further declines. Yes, we're having the first step towards lower levels, and let's see what's going to happen with the psychological $70 mark. If we can clear that one, amazing. I'm going to go lower. And like I said, I'm very happy about this one, because I kept on saying, that these moves to the upside could be temporary, and yep, there we go. We're getting that nice drop in oil. And there we go. Let's see what's going to happen further. If we can stay below the $70 mark, amazing. I'm going to go further south. Natural gas, let's have a look at this one. Beautiful decline, all good, everything is fine. What can I say? I mean, maybe we can redraw this. I mean, this is becoming very technical here, I would say. And look, if we stay above this upside line, I'm going to stick to the upside. If we start clearing this upside line, very simple, I'm leaning a little bit more to the downside. Let's jump into coffee. Beautiful movement here. Yes, Friday was somewhat modest, but look, I'm still leaning towards the downside. I said to you that if we do drop and stay below the 409 zone, my next target is this upside line together with the 50-day EMA, and then we'll go from there. Period. Actually, I'm not going to say anything else. I mean, for now, it's like I said, very straightforward for me. Nothing else to add. Sugar. Ooh, look at this. Wow. Now this has been a move. Now this is a move. Amazing. Look at this. I mean, I need to dig into this. I mean, I'm seeing, this is the first time I'm seeing this chart, to be honest, right now, today, because I haven't looked at it. I thought I'm going to pick up just as it is, you know, on the spot. However, I think I need to look into this a little bit better, because again, this has been, wow, what a movement. Look, I think I'm gonna pick up on this again on Wednesday in my midweek review, because I want to have a look at what's happening here. What's is there like a drop in demand, or actually we have an oversupply of this? So yes, and it's quite interesting. But we're falling back below the psychological. We fell back below the psychological $20 mark. The question for me is this just a temporary glitch, and then, you know, we're going to see a reversal back up, or actually is this something to worry about for the bulls? Let's keep an eye on this one. And like I said, I'll pick up on this on Wednesday as well, because I'm going to look, I really want to look into this, and I want to see what's happening there. And to do a little bit of research. Now let's jump into the Forex, so not the Forex world, we've been there already. The crypto world, ladies and gentlemen, this one is suffering a little bit. Now, we saw some news, and if you didn't see that, the bit, what's the name of that? BitLie, what was the company that got hacked? Bybit, sorry, Bybit. Yes, there we go, Bybit. So Bybit was hacked, apparently, allegedly, by North Korea's hackers. Yep, you know, it kind of shook the market a little bit, and everybody's in kind of this panic mode. Now, the main thing is that Ethereum, that's the problem. And it kind of got, like I said, the attention, and because Ethereum was wiped out, the Ethereum wallet was wiped out, and there was like 1.2 or 1.4 billion, depending on the source, which is, you know, quoting that got wiped, like got stolen. Right. Okay. For now, yes, we're seeing, you know, we're seeing a reaction to the downside on Ethereum, for example. My only issue is that if it's such a big deal, if it's such a big problem, why there's not a bigger reaction? We've seen, you know, reactions on like less of a big thing, you know, on which were major reactions, you know, with those like major moves. But this one is just like, it's okay, you know, it's like a regular decline. So that's what I'm saying. So for now, I think the market is trying to digest all that to see, you know, what can be done. But at the moment, I think the next step is from Ethereum itself. So to see what those guys are going to do. Everybody's talking about that rollback thing. Again, is this going to be done or not? And all eyes are on the, you know, on Ethereum. It's interesting that, you know, how it works in the world, right? I mean, Bybit got hacked, you know, Ethereum's, yeah, were stolen, but now everybody's like, it's like, apparently it's like Ethereum problem. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, this looks a little bit strange and suspicious. Anyway, we'll see how it, you know, talking about trying to think of different conspiracy theories here, because something doesn't add up here. Anyway, like I said, we're not seeing that major reaction, because again, the hack happened, a lot of billions were stolen, and we're not seeing that major move. I mean, come on. Anyway. So yeah, for now, I would say if we do drop on Ethereum below the 2,500 zone, then yeah, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. Ripple is yes, also kind of shifting lower on the news, but again, nothing major. Just it seems like a regular move to the downside. For now, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside as long as we stay below the 50-day EMA. Litecoin, there we go, fell back below this downside line, which we broke previously. And now it seems like we're leaning, towards lower levels. As long as we stay below this downside line, I'm going to stay to the downside. If we push back above the downside line, I'm going to lean to the upside. Dogecoin, so far so good. But what's interesting here that we are falling below the 200-day EMA, and that's what's interesting here. So we're falling below the 200-day EMA. And this is something that is kind of opening the door for possible move further south, maybe even towards the lower side of this falling channel. Let's not forget that we're in a falling channel, and it can be tested. The lower side can be tested. We remain below the midpoint of that falling channel. So yep, there is a good chance for this one to drift lower. At the moment, we're trading below the 200-day EMA. As long as we stay below it, I'm going to go further south. Polkadot, very quickly on this one. Okay, Polkadot also declined. I talked about this in one of my videos here on TradingView, and still it remains above this downside line. It broke the downside line. It pushed a little bit higher, but it remained above the downside line. So in a way, there is still a chance for this one to move back up. Let's see. Again, for me to start considering maybe the upside again, a push back above the 4.88 zone would be required. And finally, Bitcoin Cash, just wanted to quickly share with you on this one. Look, purely from the technical perspective, this is forming a descending triangle. According to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. Can we get that breakout? Of course we can. However, will it happen? We have to wait, because at the moment we can say a lot of things. I mean, and I've seen, like I said, these ascending and descending triangles, which according to TA rules should be breaking this way and that way, but they break out the opposite way. So it's kind of, killing the whole technical analysis thing. So that's why I keep on saying, wait for the clearance. Wait for the numbers to, or wait for the move, and then you can do something about it. See how it reacts, how it performs, and then go from there if you're comfortable with. Because, for example, here, if you remember, I talked about this ascending triangle here on the Japanese, on Nikkei 225. And look at this. I mean, we broke to the downside. Now we're looking at Bitcoin Cash, right? And it seems like it's, it should potentially break out lower, but, we could see the opposite happening. So wait for the clearance first, and then we can do something about it if we are comfortable with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. That's a wrap for today. I hope you found this session useful. I tried to deliver as much info as possible to prepare you for the week ahead. And let me know in the comments if you, what are you trading? What are you trading? Maybe I've missed that instrument, and I will pick up on it during the next session. But in the meantime, look, thank you very much. I hope you like and subscribe, the usual thing, that you do on YouTube. I hope you'll do that with us as well. So you'll like our videos, you'll subscribe to our videos, and you subscribe to our channels. I mean, we can go from there. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I'll see you later. As always, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. See you on Wednesday. As always, 8 o'clock GMT time, 10 o'clock GMT plus 2 time. So yes, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.